Welcome to Countdown to Tip-Off, presented by IHTN1, streaming live on IHTN1 YouTube channel. I'm Grant Moranis, Tony Harris. First thing we're going to look at today is Indian Hill coming off of a big win against Deer Park last night to remain in first place in the CHL. They won that game 68-25. Last night off the points of Colin Shaw and George Davis off the bench.
That was terrific, Grant. The Braves played very, very well. Deer Park's not a great test, but also got significant contributions off the bench. Jake Fry was terrific. He was all over the place, getting rebounds, keeping balls alive. Dawson Eichholz played terrific defense, as he always does. The only question mark in yesterday's game was if Matteo Fiore is going to be okay for tonight and this week. And the early indications are he's fine. He was at the shoot-around this morning, and he plans on playing today, so that's great news for the Braves.
Let's take a look at the CHL standings. Indian Hill still at the top, 10-1 overall, 6-0 in the league. Have two games coming up against Reading and Wyoming this week.
Those are both big games. Reading on Tuesday, and the hope and the prayers of Braves fans is that Nick Heidel will be back for that game. And then the big showdown with Wyoming next Friday night at Wyoming, which will be for first place in the league, and the game that the Braves need dearly. We played about as perfect a game as we could have against Wyoming early in the season and won by 25. And let's hope that we rout them by one next Friday, because that's the game that everybody's been pointing for. And I unfortunately know some people that have Wyoming roots, and they've been looking forward to this now for several weeks. So that's a big game this Friday. And Reading could be a trap game, because if the Braves are looking too forward to Friday, Tuesday could be difficult. So let's hope they have their big boy pants on Tuesday and ready to go on Friday.
Both of those games on the road. Obviously, the Braves' next 4 games are going to be on the road. Test for them to be able to get away from this home crowd and home support and pull out some victories on their trip. Looking ahead for tonight, they take on Amelia, who is also in first place in their league, the Southern Buckeye Conference. They stand at 8-4 overall and 4-1 in their league. Indian Hill and Amelia have 3 common opponents this year.
That's right. Both teams lost very handily to Anderson. The Braves played Anderson the first game of the season. The majority of the Braves players also play football on that terrific football team that the Braves were able to have this year. And the guys probably didn't have their sea legs for the first game. And not to make excuses, but obviously they played brilliantly since then. But the Anderson game was not very strong, and Anderson played very well and beat them. But Anderson also beat Amelia 80-39. So that's a common opponent. The other common opponent is Norwood, and Amelia lost to Norwood, and the Braves beat Norwood by 17 a couple weeks ago, right before the Christmas break. And then Goshen is the other common opponent. And Amelia has lost to Goshen by 8, and the Braves beat Goshen last week by 17. So if you're comparing common opponents, the Braves seem to have a very, very big advantage. And let's hope that shows true on the scoreboard this evening.
Well, tonight for the Braves, matching up with Cage Meyer for Amelia will be Dawson Eichholz. And you've mentioned multiple times before, Dawson is a strong defender.
Dawson loves defense. That's what he lives for. And Dawson has had a lot of great defensive games last week against Madeira and Jack Kravac. I'm surprised Kravac wasn't crying at the end of the game. Dawson just outplayed him, out-hustled him, and Kravac's a very talented 6'5" player. Well, Dawson has another challenge tonight. The Cage Meyer is Amelia's best player, and he leads their team in scoring, he leads their team in rebounding, he leads their team in block shots. And it's a strong player and somebody who the Braves have to shut down if they want to have success tonight. And Dawson's going to be has his hand raised, and he wants that challenge, and it's going to be an exciting challenge for him. And I'm sure he'll be equal to the test, but a lot of the success of this game depends on Dawson's defense.
The Braves also have their eye on Ryan Turner, who will be wearing number 42 for Amelia today, matching up with him. The other I-Colts, Reed I-Colts, both of these guys inside players. What do you have on the Braves stopping Amelia's inside game?
Well, that's the key. Their two top scorers, their two top rebounders, their two top shot blockers are the fellas we just mentioned, and the I-Colts boys are going to be very active tonight. George Davis, who played brilliantly last night, will get some time in there, and Jake Fry, who also played very well last night. They're all going to have their turns trying to slow these guys down. The two players we just mentioned, both Cage and Turner, have taken a collective one three-point shot between them. So it's an inside game for Amelia, and the Braves have got to be strong on the inside. You've got to box out. You've got to be strong. You can't give them second shots. And let those guys shoot out there. They're not threats from the three-point range. Let them have that all day. And on the Brave side, Colin Shaw, who's awfully steady, he should have a strong and a solid game. Hopefully he doesn't have a tough defensive assignment, since their best scorers are inside. And Matteo Fiore seems to be well healed from his sprained ankle that he had to come out early yesterday. Hopefully Matteo will be available and ready to shoot. Matteo is a great three-point shooter. Once he catches fire, watch out. And Winston Kane, Brad Lewis, there should be, Amelia most likely will be playing a lot of zone, and so there should be some open threes. You make dribble penetration, which Colin Shaw is terrific with, and kick the ball out, and there should be some nice open threes for a lot of the Braves players. And looking forward to a fun night and an active night from a lot of different guys.
Things I'm looking forward to as well. Strong bench play from George Davis. He was hot last night, 15 points off the bench, and really in a limited amount of time to be playing. Played about 10 minutes. I'm looking for him, again, to be a factor in this. Jake Fry, as you mentioned, will match up well against these big guys that Amelia has. So looking at all these, what's your prediction for tonight's game?
I believe the Braves are going to play very well, and I think they're going to come out victorious. And there's a lot of parts with the Braves. And one guy we didn't mention who gets overlooked very easily is Marco Fiore. He's just a terrific player, hard-nosed, does everything well. Gets overlooked because he doesn't take a lot of shots, but he's a great assist man. He's a great defender. He even rebounds with his size. And I think Marco and the defense that the Braves play is something that's very exciting. It's real easy to get carried away with the scoring, but defense wins games, and every guy on this team plays hard on defense, and they play help defense and good team defense. And I think the Braves will hold Amelia under 50, and I think they will emerge victorious tonight, and Coach Birch will get another win. We mentioned last night, if the Braves can pull that out, it'll be 11 wins in a row, and that hasn't happened since the 2008-2009 season. So it would be nice for these guys to tie a record and hopefully extend that next week.
With Matteo Fiore exiting early last night due to an ankle injury, Marco got quite significant minutes, maybe more than he's used to playing. I'm looking, again, same thing as you, for him to be a big factor as well in this one. I'd have the Braves over the Barons tonight as well. As the Braves look to extend their win streak to 11 games, we'll be with you tonight streaming live on IHTN 1 at Indian Hill, 7:30 tip-off. We'll see you there.